Then we've got some special adjustments up to 50% of the cost of alternative fuel gas fuel pump, little things that really matter in scaling up this whole thing, advanced manufacturing. All that manufacturing of those wind turbines and solar projects, solar cells and solar modules in China now include the U.S. If you are going to be building a manufacturing plant in the United States, you will now get a 30% tax credit on that investment. That's the incentive we needed all this time to make that happen. And then the incentive for electric vehicles and electric vehicles. This is a massive bill that's going to impact us. Unfortunately, not this year. In fact, it's not going well this year, frankly, because these things don't kick in. So September of this year, 2010, was the delay. When they do kick in, I expect it to be quite tough. U.S. Congress, what it's doing, there's a lot more coming. But we need to understand that energy at this point, now that the stimulus bill has gone through, and we've gotten a lot of what we wanted, now what's next is Congress working on the financial crisis. It's really hurt us all. The economic recovery, it's hurt us all. Afghan and Iraq and the kind of things that we've on the third page of the newspaper because of our own personal and financial problems. It's still there. The international relations that Secretary Clinton is trying to rebuild. The final legislation is about to come through. The energy bill is going to be combined with that. And healthcare still a part of the nation. All these things, this heavy weight of 13 things on top of it. How can we get healthcare up on top of energy? These other things, in fact, we take priority. Energy-related things, the National Renewable Portfolio Standard, the feed-in tariff, kind of new rates, the transmission grid, biofuels, nuclear power going to be coming back with some incentives. Coal is still on there for R&D and trying to keep that thing alive on oil and gas. Interestingly enough, though, the last energy plan had this list exactly in inverse. Okay? This is exactly all the chapters. This went from 1 through 7, this went to 7 to 1. It just went upside down. Of course, we like this. All right, here in California, we've got a lot started. Nice map here where basically you see the cluster around South and San Francisco. But the fact is, and I think you saw this in Van Cameron, because he uses this data as well, this thing just really kicked in last year. There's been a lot of, in terms of bulk megawatts in the electric system, and now it's going to go big scale here in California. Let me walk quickly through the technologies and give you a brief on where we stand nationally. In wind power,
no, resume.
All right, how's that? Okay. All right, wind power, we've had this big up-down growth. We've had a big boom here last year. This is a megawatts installed in a year. Next year is going to be a down year because so much got pulled out last year. We've got a financial crisis. But I think that there's going to be a recovery in 2010 and we're back up on our feet. We've got a lot of financial issues here, a lot of government bailout kinds of provisions coming in next year. We need to build out the transmission system to get all the power to the load centers. And the international competition from China is going to be very good. Long term, this is a forecast by New Energy Finance, a very credible source of analysis in our field. It says by 2030, wind power is going to be 700 gigawatts. Now, the United States has 1,000 gigawatts of total electric power capacity. This is saying that in 30 years, wind power is going to be huge. This is the biggest number, 700 gigawatts. And as much as 200 gigawatts out of our 1,000 gigawatts, as much as 20% of the U.S. will be powered by wind. In solar photovoltaics, this is a budding market here that's taking off principally in California. I think California represents as much as 70 to 80% of the national market is solar photovoltaics. Great market. We've had a lot of technical fixes in the financing. The silicon supply and pricing, you've probably heard about that. Supply is now exceeding demand, which is very tough on the companies. We've got these financial issues. We're chasing grid parity. That means that we want to get the cost of solar energy down equal to what the electric utility sells electricity for, and we're that close to doing that. The other thing is getting manufacturing back here in the U.S. from overseas. The long-term forecast for that, again, from New Energy Finance, 600 gigawatts of solar PV in the world in 2030. This is unbelievable, these kinds of numbers. When you look at where we are, the little dotted line is how small we are today and how big this is going to become. And I believe in these numbers. And if you notice, OECD North America, the brown is the United States. That's 300 gigawatts, which is to say these very smart people think that solar PV will be bigger in the United States than wind power. That's how big this could be. And you're the center state for this industry. This is the industry of the future. Concentrated solar power. I think many of you have heard about these big projects out in the desert. There's a picture of one that exists. A lot exists. Tremendous backlog of projects about to happen with venture capital backing. And now those loan guarantees and those tax credits kick in to help the financing of these innovative big projects. And I will predict that over the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see as much as $45 billion of these projects being built here in California and nearby in Nevada. Mostly here in California. Geothermal power. This is a big, dirty ball thing that goes on where you can't see it. And, what's that all about? Let me say this. There's two big sources, and one little source of renewable energy in the universe. One is the sunlight coming down and hitting the earth. Okay, you can collect that. And it also causes the rain, which in the end, and there's your hydro, your wind, it also comes from solar. There's a little one called the moon, and a little bit of push-pull on the ocean, and you can harvest something. The other good, of course, is that geothermal coming out. And you know about it here in California, but is it really, can you believe it? Well, you know why when the oil companies drill down, they stop at 10,000 feet? Because the drill bits melt. They melt. It's that hot. Can we get down there and bring up that steam so we don't have to burn coal just to make steam? Yes, we can. I believe that in 100 years, this will supply 20% of the base load electric power in the United States, all in the West. As much as 40% of the Western electricity will be provided by geothermal. If we get Chevron to work with PG&E, we want to go down there and work up here, all right? We can make this thing happen. This is the big one, but it will take a long time to get it. Hydropower, we played out pretty much. There's a lot of it. There's a lot more. A little bit more yet to come. With the stimulus bill, interestingly enough, included that investment tax credit for hydropower. So all the projects that we're going to get done in the next 10 years just got a 30% profit. Definitely going to happen. Ocean power. I love this. I served on the submarine in the Navy. I love this. It's a very powerful place. You don't want to mess with it. How many more times more dense is water than air? 800. 871 times. I know what you mean. So a turbine in the Gulf Stream and 1 mile an hour wind is like a wind turbine in California and 800 miles an hour of wind. All right, this is a lot of energy out there above us. And lastly, biomass energy. Well, this has got some problems with food versus fuel issues and things like that. But incrementally, we can do a lot with biomass and actually treat that biomass waste more environmental controlled by aggressively using it than just burning it or letting it waste. A lot of potential here in biomass. Let me close with just a thought, and let me move away from the technical. I wanted to give you kind of a technical brief as to what's going on around, but when we really talk about our outlook, the biggest question, why do I do what I do? There's a lot of smart people in this thing. You're not here for no reason. You thought it was, and I feel like that's what I do. And I went back and got a slide I hadn't used in 3 or 4 years, but it comes to mind again. Why we do what we do. And I'll share with you why I do what I do. Because I believe we will solve this problem. I see a world where we will get that 20% wind. We will get that 20% geothermal. We will implement 300 gigawatts of PV. Don't think of PV on a car, we think of PV highways. We're going to pay highways for stuff and electric vehicles. We will overcome this climate challenge because we are working. We will create a clean environment for our children. We will secure our national security and energy supply. I think we will look back and say we did it because we're all working on this. And when we work on something, we usually achieve those kind of things when we work on it. So I think we will look back and say we did a good job. You're here being a part of it. So thank you for being a part of it. And I hope you will look back and feel satisfaction. Why you are here today, we continue working on this, and we will have succeeded. It's not just an opportunity to succeed. Now it's an obligation to succeed. We have an obligation to succeed and make this a great success. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for having me. Again, thank you, Michael, for those remarks, and certainly for your leadership, the dialogue, and the collaboration, essentially to move the whole green, innovation and movement forward. Now it's my honor to introduce this morning's keynote speaker, who really needs no introduction, but our former California State Treasurer, Bill Angelides.